Today, on part 3, we're going to build the tower caps. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so we are in the process of making 3 of them, more because I already made this one. So basically, pretty simple. All we did was, because we don't have a hot knife cutter yet, maybe one of the hot tools from Proxxon, we have to do it with our knife. So not exactly the roundest of round, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we got a rough grit, put it over a garbage can, and all I'm going to do is give it a couple of little turns. This paper is pretty, this styrofoam is very easy to shape out, which is nice. So we did that. So as we're doing that, we're gonna plug in our hot glue. I don't want that to drop. All right. So then the second step, what I did was I took another piece and I made it the same size, and then I just cut the inside out. I don't know. You know what? You have to make it fit your size. So I can't say exactly like you have to do 3 inches or 2 inches. You don't. Try to sand the best out we can. So what I like to do here is put it together. What I'm going to do is we're going to glue it together, and then we're just going to roughly round it out so it looks like it's straight. So that's the best way to do it. So very simple. What we'll do is we'll just let our hot glue gun turn around. Then we just added some Mod Podge, and then we're going to add some bottom pieces to it so that basically it looks like it's part of the building. You could do it after or do it before. What I do is I just add them on, then I cut them, and this stuff is pretty flexible, so it'll fit on there very easy, like so. I already did a coat on this one. While that is drying, I'm going to use a little bit more, and we're going to coat our drying as that's heating up, I should say. We're just going to take our fancy dancy paintbrushes, and we're just going to give this a quick Mod Podge with paint again, and it's just going to darken it up. We will add more paint or more color to the building itself once it's on there. So this is basically just to get, cover all the glue and just to darken it up. That's the best thing I could do right now to it. And then drying time, very simple. Either use a hairbrush. Jeez, I can't talk today. Use a hair dryer, or you could let it set on its own. It depends how fast you want to build these things. We're speed building everything, just so that we could show you guys what it's going to look like in the end. So again, hair dryer, not hairbrush, and just add your paint to it. And then sometimes the hot glue won't take the paint as well if it's watered down. I notice that quite often. So it's best to put a couple of coats on just to get it looking good. And like I said, later during the build, we could always add either more paint, more Mod Podge, if we want to harden this up better with paint, less water, less distilled water. It just depends on what you're going to do in the end. This is just a quick build. It's just going to sit there until we have a buyer for it. That's how it works. So it's easy as that. All right, so we're going to just move these guys over. Put our paint, our glue should be ready. So all we need to do is glue. Doesn't matter what side it is, just a little bit of hot glue all the way around. All right, make sure you have a lot of hot glue on hand. Put it on your piece. We're going to double it up basically. Now with this, you could basically shape it so it is, they will fit well. Or what I'll do, once it's on there and it's dried very well, easy, just take my sandpaper block and I'll just go around it like this, form it nice and round. You gotta remember too, guys, castle's old, destroyed, whatever you want to call it. It's a ruined castle. Everything we make has bumps and nicks and whatever to it. It's just the way it is. Alright, so once you have that on, what you want to do is you want to put your sides on. All I do with this is I take some hot glue. I'll find my first spot. Make sure you get enough of it on there. Not too much because it'll leak out the sides and hot glue burns it. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a big piece to it. Now, it's easier for me to put a big piece on it, and you'll see in a couple seconds why. And then I'll take the other side, so we're just going to go with a 4-pillar kind of base, you know. Take another piece, do the same thing, even it out at the bottom. Alright. Make sure it's, you know, you want it straight. Doesn't have to be, because it's, like I said, it's an old, ruined kind of a building. Once this is dried, even if it isn't, I'll set it down. I'll take my knife, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it in half. Alright? I'm going to hold it together, and I'm going to slice it in half. That's it. Keep this side, take the other, hold it down, cut it in half. Alright, simple like that. Then we'll take the other 2 halves, and we're just going to do the same thing. Not worried about what they look like, because we are going to shape it out with our sandpaper after. Okay? Try to get, ooh, that's hot. Try to get the pieces how you want them to look. Alright? It's up to you. And then we'll add some here. We're going to put this one on. Very simple. Make sure they look like they're in a cross kind of thing. Where did that one go? Alright. I guess I didn't put it. Alright. And then again, hot glue always has issues with the wisps that hang off once you touch it. It's just crap, but whatever. Just went to the dollar store, found me some more Mod Podge. You know, at $1 each, you can't go wrong. Dollar store's great for it. So this takes, again, seconds to dry. All you want to do now is, once it's all in there solid, take the one that is solid. Okay. Take your sandpaper and work on the edges. So you're just going to bring it down and on the top. And you'll want to work on this when it's harder. Like hot glue only takes literally seconds for it to set. That's the nice thing about it. But you want to take your time. With me, the builds are fast, and I can work it fast enough to say that I know when it's ready to use and when not to use. Alright, so I know this one and this one is just set, just on, so I'll wait a couple seconds, and very simple. We're just trying to make it like a round, kind of a dome around it kind of thing, like this, with a little bit on the top too. You want to sort of peek it out a bit, like at an angle, just to give it that look. And then not too, you don't want them too thick all the way around either, because they look kind of funky. So as we do all 4 of them, 4 sides, and like I said, it's set already, so it's not going anywhere, or it shouldn't go anywhere. And then like I said, this pink stuff is easy to form, but just make sure you're over a garbage can, and like everything else, just don't breathe it in. If you can, wear a mask. You have to. Safety first, of course. And all we're going to do is put like a little angle on the front, top, and bottom like this. Set this one out. Last one. Very simple. Very easy to work with. That's why I like this. It's so simple to use. Alright, so once you got the right shape to what you want, kind of eye it out, see if any pieces are too high. It's up to you. Give it a quick look. Alright. There we go, guys. It's as simple as that. Next step is to put on the bottom pieces. With this, all I'm going to do is put a little dab of hot glue here on the bottom. I use a rounder piece, we'll say, and in between, I'm just going to glue that like so. Like so. Push it down. I'll do the same with another piece. Put some glue on it. Alright. Get those wisps off of there. Put it between this one. Alright. So it has that look. So when that is on there and it's dry, so if you push down on it, it helps. Alright. Like so. Then all you're going to do is take your knife and you're just going to leave a little small piece on the top. You really want to make sure this part is dry because it won't cut as well, because it won't stick. So we'll just cut that piece off, and there you have that hanging edge kind of a look. We'll do this, then we'll just take the other side of this, put some hot glue on it. Alright. Burning myself or touching anything. And we'll add that piece here, putting it in the center of your two pieces. A lot of wisps going on again. Hate this stuff. Hot glue is just funky to play with, but and you want to try to get as much hot glue off, I find, because I think I said that earlier. It's hard. It doesn't paint well. Hot glue just doesn't take paint very well. It takes, I guess, just pure paint, okay, but not watered down paint. So again, just taking a little, just leaving like millimeters of it. I'm gonna cut, take this piece off like so, and then again like this piece. Oops, a little bit of hot glue. Add that to this side. So as we're working on each side, we're letting it set a little bit at a time, like so. And then I'm gonna burn myself there. Just taking a little chunk off. Even if you cut into it, you'll never see it. It's at the bottom. And the last piece I'm not really worried about because I'm just going to push down on it. And again, I'm just going to cut down slightly. And there we have our four pieces together. Now, really, I don't want to stick this on here as of yet because the glue is still sticky. A little bit of water, spit, whatever you want to call it, on there. And again, like I said, this stuff is spongy, so it'll automatically fit itself on there. Not an issue. Now, one thing you have to look at is where your pieces are. Everyone fits except for this one. So, easy to fix. Take another piece out, hot glue it, hot glue it to it, like so. I'm just going to take a little look of how this is going to work. So I'm going to take not as much off of this one, maybe that much. You could work at it slowly, as in how much you want to take off, you know. As long as you're leaving, you don't want too big of a gap in them itself. And there you go, fits on there perfectly. There might be a little bit of a space between it. with the Mod Podge and the paint that we'll be doing with it. We could also fill it in with something if we really want to. We can even add more hot glue. When we stick it, it'll space it out. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to put my wash on this one, and then we're going to glue it together. We're going to glue it on here so we know where it goes. All right, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so final step of our build, of this part of the build, part 3, is to add our caps on. So all we're going to do is put a nice big glob of hot glue around it, and we just want to make sure we know where we're going, because once it's on there. So we're just going to set it up like so, put a little bit of pressure down. That's it. We'll do all 4 of them like this. And again, we want these kind of outward so they're not in the way, as people can see them. All we're going to do is put a little bit of pressure. Pretty simple. And down to the hot glue. Make sure all the pieces are lined up properly. Alright. Again, make sure they're all around there. Sides. A little bit of pressure. And there you have it, guys. The towers are on. They're solid. They're not going to come off. So we're going to end part 3 as in these 4 pieces are done. I'll give a closer look. We have our towers, so our character can sit on it. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what it's going to look like that. Don't forget our drawbridge. Alright, so we'll have that set up. So I guess part 4 is adding the paint to what we want it to look like, and then small builds, like we want some towers, maybe some wall, like a piece of a ledge here so that the characters can stand on, and then we're going to do a final build of what we want to put inside. So maybe looking at marketplace kind of stuff, like weapons and food and whatever else. We'll figure it out, but that might be a later on kind of process. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for helping out with the support. Again, I'll leave my tip jar at the bottom, the link in the descriptions. If you want to donate, help out the channel, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to, because it's all great. Just remember, guys, if I can do it, you can do it. This isn't that hard. It's not brain surgery. We're having fun. We will continue on to part 4, right? All right, guys, choose your own path.